I'm fully aware of the extent of the imposition. I know the tremendous inconvenience involved.
Long-distance house calls are a way of life here, Doctor, but 2,000 miles, it's quite a trip.
Well, just tell me, can you get him here?
We're very short-handed, Doctor. Are you short-handed?
We have 214 doctors on staff here, Doctor. 214. But the patient insists on Simon Locke.
That happens here. The patients insist on me, but when I'm busy, they settle for Dr. Locke.
Dr. Sellers, this patient won't settle. He's been offered the very best. He knows what he wants and who he wants, but he still demands to see Simon Locke. And I am demanding that you at least have Simon call me.
Take my advice, Doctor. Talk to the patient pleasantly, the way you're talking to me.
Don't try and humor me, Doctor, please. Without Simon Locke, the patient refuses to accept treatment. And without treatment, the patient will die. Tell that to Simon.
Up all night with the Morgan boy?
Yeah. Fever's down to 100. Blood pressure's still high, but his pulse is slowing.
Oh, there was a phone call for you. Carstairs General Hospital.
If it's an invitation to another dinner, you go.
Old patient of yours. He's quite ill.
Who is it?
Didn't say.
Do they want the history? All my files are there.
No, not the history. The patient insists on being personally attended by Dr. Simon Locke.
You realize how many doctors they have on staff there?
214. And the patient has rejected them all. I told Dr. Bonney you'd call back.
I came here to get away from neurotics who need a special doctor with a special smile.
The trip will do you good. Call him back.
Am I needed here?
They said the man is critical. He may be neurotic, but the least you can do is find out who it is you're permitting to die. There are no emergencies here. Aside from the Morgan boy, everything is quiet. I can handle anything that comes up.
Still busy. I'm going to get the operator to cut in.
Mel, don't.
What's an emergency?
Well, let's drive it.
That's a 5-hour drive. Can you take it?
One doctor will come. Maybe we need both.
Dan's here. Dr. Locke packed yet?
You're making a mistake letting him go.
I've made mistakes before. Let's hope this one isn't fatal.
How are we going to measure up to what he has to work with back there?
He has everything there but us.
You know what you're doing.
Ah, the reinforcements have arrived.
You're returning a lion to his natural habitat.
A lion needs to roar occasionally. Don't worry, he'll be back.
I wouldn't bet on it. Once he gets a taste of that big hospital again, all the equipment he needs, all the help he needs.
He left it once, he'll leave it again.
When he first came here, he didn't know what he was getting himself into, but...
Never did learn how to travel light. Keep a close watch on the Morgan boy. Mrs. Gordon needs to be reminded about her treatment tomorrow. John Fisher, the barber, has been showing signs of a sugar increase.
Yes, yes. And I'll also water the lawn while you're gone.
Thanks for the lift.
Only to the bus stop. Who's the patient?
Man named Joseph Carter.
Must be pretty important.
They're all important.
Or, is it just a handy excuse to get away from here? Now that you've collected enough stories about life among the natives.
I can see that you're worried, too. It took us all these years to get you a helper, and you let him go the first chance you get.
Don't you have anything to do?
I can pack the rest of his things so they'll be ready when he sends for them.
Introducing the Vero at Bethlehem.
When she's clean, I want the children pumped and test the waist. Can you call your sister in to help?
I already did.
Good.
I thought if we drove in, Dr. Locke could be here.
Stop worrying, Mel.
Well, I just meant, well, with the three of them, Connie figured you'd need some help.
Mel, I can handle 3 patients blindfolded, and your family isn't that sick.
What happened to my red bicycle?
Mrs. Wynn, avomorphine, 5 milligrams subcutaneously.
My head is burning, Daddy.
Get that pump over there.
Connie isn't finished yet.
Get the pump over to the child.
You completed the tests?
No. He wouldn't let us touch him until I swore on a Bible you'd be here. Simon, you're trying to get your name in medical history, aren't you? Along with the Schweitzers and the Dooleys and the missionaries who travel the Amazon, right?
Now you know, Fred. Trying to keep it a secret, will you? How about Carter? First examination.
Yep.
You've undressed him. What'd you say?
Jaundice, pain in the area of the gallbladder.
Bad to you?
Would I have called you back from that vacation you're on if it didn't?
Dr. Locke.
Oh, thank you for coming. Joe is so relieved.
Well, he didn't sound very relieved.
Oh, well, people get angry for lots of reasons.
Would you like some coffee?
Will you be with him later?
Dr. Bonner is doing the actual surgery, if indicated. But I'll be close by.
He's a special doctor, you know. To me, it's like a little pebble a child picks up and carries around for years. It's not worth 2 cents in the world to anyone. Just that child.
He's worth as much as presidents and kings. He made sure I didn't forget that.
He never had an even break in his life. Whatever he touched went wrong. Business, jobs. Each of his friends made out better than he did, but he never once complained. People used to say to me, how can you live with a failure? If it wasn't for welfare, you'd be out in the street. Oh, he's scared stiff, Doctor. He's hanging on a thread. And he's scared. Well, thanks for coming. Except for the trip. No harm done, right?
changed my train set.
Lie down, George.
The kite went off the tree. I gotta get it.
George. Remember last summer when you broke your arm and I set it for you?
Here we are, honey. There.
That's good.
Ah, does it still hurt?
Only 'cause I throw out so much.
Oh, of course.
Doctor? Doctor? It's Connie. She's crying.
If someone gets sick across the street, we're in trouble.
Does it hurt that much, Connie?
No.
Well, crying helps let it all come out. But there's no need to be frightened.
I'm not crying, Andrew.
But Connie, your face is...
Don't know what it is. I can feel the tears, but I'm not crying.
Well, what is it?
Mel, if you don't get out of my way, I'm going to run over you. Now sit down there and hold your wife's hand. There's nothing to worry about. Vomiting, abdominal cramps, confusion, thirst, and now sudden lacrimation of the tear ducts. That's a syndrome, Mrs. Wynne. But of what?
If we call the hospital now and I meet his plane, we can have him here by morning.
Who are we expecting, Dan?
It would be a good idea to at least let Dr. Locke know.
Know what? That my friends and my staff are afraid I can't do my job anymore?
Stubborn. That's what you are, stubborn. Andrew, you're running yourself ragged.
Stubborn, possibly. That's always been one of my better qualities. But not stupid. If I thought Dr. Locke was needed, I'd be the first to call him.
Do you know what it is yet?
Don't you get the impression I'm working on it?
Suppose it happens in the town. Suppose it's an epidemic.
You see, Mrs. Wynne, I told you we had nothing to worry about. We even have a diagnostician at our disposal.
Connie? Connie?
Coma, get the plasma.
Doc, the whole room's going around.
Well, there's something there. It's hard to tell.
Joe, we're going to have to do some exploratory surgery.
You mean you don't know what's wrong?
We'd like to get a closer look.
Well, what about all those tests?
Well, the tests are helpful.
Are they expensive?
Some of them. This isotope machine costs a fortune.
We'll take some more. I'm worth it. Mr. Carter, you'll get the best possible equipment. You can believe that.
Well, there's the mass.
The head of the pancreas?
Could be the body or the tail.
That'd change the way you'd go in, wouldn't it?
Yes.
He's in no condition for a fast second operation if we're wrong.
Simon, I'm not so sure he'll get through the first one.
If we do get it on the first try, and he hasn't begun to metastasize yet, he does have a chance.
Small one.
Let's go for the head of the pancreas.
Well, that would make it tougher to operate.
But if it is in that area, he does have a chance.
A good doctor's come so far, it's not good form to challenge his opinions. What is it?
I've forgotten what a well-equipped hospital looks like.
Simon, everything we can possibly provide will be on the patient's side.
Can I scrub with you?
I think we might get the good doctor back after all.
not bacteria, it's not amoebic. It's something in the food they ate. I know it.
No arsenic, no lead, no chemicals?
No chemicals.
Then what can it be?
This is what it can be. No modern equipment, no centrifuge, no prismatic diffuser.
And no Simon Locke to help keep you from dropping off your feet.
Fred, you're a fine surgeon.
But you diagnosed it correctly.
Chalk one up for me.
Simon, we've spent long hours trying to understand why a man with your abilities and apparent common sense could bury himself in some godforsaken place that isn't even listed on most maps.
You want it straight?
I'd like to know.
I went there because I read an ad Sellers put in the medical journal. I said to myself, why not go? I couldn't answer the why not. So I went.
We were going to give you that new wing we built. Pick your own staff, pick of the projects to work on.
What about Garson?
No, that's all right. You knew he was just an interim head when you took the job. We all expected you back in a month. Simon, come back.
Fred, you don't need me.
Look what happened to Joe Carter. I'd have blown it myself.
One tough case. I guessed.
Yeah, but you guessed right. Now maybe the man has a chance.
Does he really?
No, not much, but more than he had before. Simon, there are just so many more people here to see in a day, in a week, in a month. So much more you can do.
Yes, Mrs. Wynn, I'm calling Dr. Locke.
Well, the patients are no worse,
Surprise.
but they're no better.
Oh, Dr. Locke. How's it going?
We operated this morning.
Prognosis?
He's going to sour. The carcinoma's already begun to metastasize locally. No way we could know until we went in. How was it in Dixon Mills?
Oh, we're just sitting around here sunning ourselves.
Tell him.
Mrs. Wynn sends her regards. He's having a hard time.
Why don't you tell him about your lawn party?
I'll be back in a few days.
Good. Drop in on your old friends.
This is the first peace he's had in years.
Do you want me to tell him?
Yes.
Amanita muscarium. Toadstools. George, your parents are asleep. Did your mother put mushrooms in the stew she made for lunch?
I don't know. I did.
You did? Did you grow them in your garden?
I picked them in the field, and I threw them into the stew pot to surprise her.
Ah. Atropine for all of them. 0.6 of a milligram subcutaneously every 4 hours. If that doesn't work, we'll change to IV. There may be a phalloidine strain in there somewhere. Mrs. Holgate, they'll need a high carbohydrate diet supplemented by 5% dextrose in water, IV. Let's see Dr. Locke rattle that off the top of his head.
Joe wanted to say thanks.
I didn't, but I will.
Don't tell me you still have complaints about the treatment, Joe.
You kidding? Count the pipes in me.
Someday your husband and I are going to have a civil conversation.
How about now? It's on your face. Go ahead.
I don't sleep well on airplanes or in hotel rooms, Joe. That's what you see on my face.
Just tell me how long. An hour? Minute?
A couple of months. Joe, we did everything humanly possible. I want you to believe that. Nobody in this world ever got more attention than you these past days.
Hear that, May?
Yes, honey.
For the rest of my life, I can remember this.
Every morning I'll wake up and say to myself, Joe, you had your own doctor come 2,000 miles to take care of you. Hey, it's all right. I just didn't want to get thrown out like the garbage because I never had my picture on the cover of Time magazine. All I ask is an even shake. I get it?
You got it.
How about that, May? You tell your friends that. Joe Carter and the President of the United States.
I gave odds we'd never see you again.
Sorry. Maybe next time you'll get even.
How come you didn't stay longer?
Ran out of stories about life among the natives.
He's here.
Well, Doctor, how'd it go?
I lost him.
We still on the same team?
I guess.
Good. And it evens out. I saved 4.
You look pale. What happened to all that rest and sunshine you said you were getting?
Shopping for car insurance is the worst.
Time do you make it now, Harry?
I imagine it's about 4.
I know these yard men. Casual they are. He's no doubt sipping his 3rd cup of tea about now.
You know him, Inspector?
Well, if your identification is correct, every police force west of Athens knows him. As far as I know, we're the first ones ever to see what he looked like.
We called the yard, sir. As soon as we saw his name, he'd sewn inside the pocket of his jacket. Must be espionage.
Oh, how'd that happen?
Accident, sir. Pure and simple. A milk cart. The horse went wild and ran off with the cart. No driver. Charged around this corner here, caught the bloke by surprise.
Well, that's a commonplace end to a romantic career, if you like.
This is all he had in his person, sir. £100, this French coin, and a note.
And Note, eh? For a glance at the coin and a cheery good day, the Queen of Lambeth will send you on your way. Arrive 8 a.m. Wednesday. That's this morning.
Any idea what it means, sir?
No.
You have enough time to find out.
There may still be time. 221B Baker Street, and hurry.